Veteran criminal attorney Robert Bonsib joins us now. The state's attorney says they started their investigation into the campaign finance charges involving Kwame Brown, then discovered the bank fraud charges. Why was Brown brought up on a felony charge for the bank fraud in a federal court, a misdemeanor charge on the campaign finance issues in a local court?
Well, one of the things that we often see happen in investigations is that they start in one direction and things are developed, things come up that were not expected, and when they come to the attention of the authorities, they don't turn a blind eye to them. So in this case, it appears that when they started to see what were apparently blatant false statements, they chose not to overlook that, and they had to deal with it, even though, as has been indicated, there's a bit of history between the time of when those events occurred and today.
Now, I guess people were asking if maybe possibly they showed him some leniency, because couldn't both of them have been brought up as federal charges?
Well, I don't know whether they could have pulled the other one into federal court. The plea agreement characterizes both of them in the 0 to 6 month range. They're relatively low-level violations in terms of what we normally see in cases where there's alleged public corruption. And with the cooperation provisions in the federal agreement, it would appear that he's in a very good position to make a pitch to the court when it's time for sentencing that a probationary sentence is appropriate.
And we should let our audience know that in addition to being a defense attorney, you've also been on the other side of this in the state's attorney's office in Prince George's County. We heard the state's attorney's office say today no jail time was part of this plea deal with Kwame Brown. In fact, they said it was too early to say if they will even ask for jail time. In your experience on both sides of this, is he looking at doing time?
You know, it's hard to say, but when you see the way they crafted or drafted the plea agreement, it puts him in the lowest sentencing range under the federal sentencing guidelines. In most instances, if a judge believes a person is really contrite, remorseful, and has done, to quote the government in some instances, the right thing, and that means cooperating with the government and telling the truth. Come sentencing day, with all the good things that people are saying about this gentleman, I think he stands a very good chance of getting a probationary sentence. The government doesn't usually come in and recommend probation. Sometimes they will say we don't oppose a request for probation. But in this case, it looks like all the bells and whistles are in place for a relatively lenient sentence.
All right, veteran criminal attorney Robert Bonsib, it's always good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
The Fox 5 weather app. Look 10 days ahead or hour by hour. View today's video forecast and radar that can pinpoint your neighborhood free at your app store or Android market.